Welcome to the Speak Your Piece podcast. My name is Ian McNaughton, Big E. Thank you very much for joining. We got a great show coming up for you today. We're going to be discussing MLB Opening Day, which was yesterday. We're going to talk a little bit about the NHL and the hockey season at the moment. We're going to discuss AEW on the road to AEW Dynasty in Vancouver on Sunday, April 12th. And I'll have your Sicko Mode Games of the weekend for you. Great show coming up, so don't go anywhere. Don't adjust your dials. Just sit back, relax, enjoy the rest of the show. It's going to be great. We'll start with opening day. Again, I'm doing this on Friday, March 27th. Opening day for pretty much everybody was Thursday, March 26th. The New York Yankees and the San Francisco Giants played on Wednesday night. That was, I guess, MLB's opening night game. That was a standalone game on Netflix, which I didn't watch. I judging by the score, it looked like a terrible game. I don't know how well the production went, but I think there were some people who thought it was okay. I don't think Netflix has done a great job early on with some of their production stuff with football, baseball so far. I don't know if they do any other sports outside of that. They do really well with the documentary stuff, obviously, with the Drive to Survive, some of the golf stuff that they do, like all that sort of stuff. They crush it. In terms of an actual sporting event television production, it's not great. It's not great. But yeah, everybody has played their opening day game, has had their first game so far up to, except for, I should say, the Toronto Blue Jays. I think the Blue Jays and the A's are playing today at Rogers Centre in Toronto. They got a late start to the season. I don't know why. I'm assuming it's probably something to do with maybe just getting an extra day to prepare with the Rogers Centre renos. I don't know. But the Blue Jays and A's are playing later today. That I believe is the last of the opening day games of everybody will have played their at least one game after Friday. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. It was a brutal day yesterday for Paul Skenes of the Pittsburgh Pirates. He went 2/3 yesterday in his game against the Mets. I think he threw 37 pitches. He does not have any help in the field. It was a mess for the Pirates, who went on to lose 11-7 to the Mets. The Mets won 11-7, or the Pirates lost 7-11. However you want to look at it. Let's take a look here. See if I got a stat line on Paul Skenes. Right now, Paul Skenes, his ERA is 67. That is not good. That's not going to win you many ball games. It was the shortest, I believe, outing of his career so far. Paul Skenes, he still took the loss in that one. That's cool. He pitched 2/3 of the game yesterday. 4 hits. 5 earned runs, 2 walks, 1 strikeout. That is not great. He had 1 hit batter, 2 walks, 37 pitches, a 9 whip. Yeah, that's not great. So Paul Skenes, the only thing the Pirates have going for them was bad yesterday. And when Paul Skenes is bad, it doesn't leave a lot for the Pirates. There's not a lot outside of Paul Skenes to really look forward to if you're a Pittsburgh Pirate. In fact, let's go through the lineup here. Paul Skenes, starting pitching. I know Mitch Keller on the Pirates. I know Paul Skenes. Jose Urquidy? Gregory Soto, I think I know. I know Joey Bart. I know Spencer Horwitz. I know Brandon Lowe. I think I've heard of Ryan O'Hearn. I know O'Neal Cruz. I know Brian Reynolds. And I know Marcelo. Okay, so, I mean, I don't know how many of those guys are actually good. But yeah, the Pirates stink. Skenes stunk. And as a result, they lost 11-7 to the New York Mets. So not great. The Milwaukee Brewers had a big win yesterday. The LA Dodgers had a big win yesterday. Two NL contenders. You would think this season. They were in the NLCS last year. The Brewers beat the White Sox 14-2. Jacob Mizorowski, starting for the Brewers yesterday, pitched a great game. The LA Dodgers were down, I believe, 2-0 early against the D-backs. They came back and eventually won 8-2 at... I know it's now the official sponsorship naming rights, whatever, is Uniqlo or whatever. It's Dodger Stadium. I'm not calling it by the sponsorship name. It was a tough time for the Cubs. They lost to the Washington Nationals. So you're looking at who you think could be potential NL title contenders. Brewers and Dodgers with a win. The Mets with a win. If you think the Mets are a contender, I'm not. I'm just giving them the benefit of the doubt. I believe the Padres... Did the Padres win yesterday? I mean, the Padres probably aren't going to win the NL title anyways. It's really, I think, just the Dodgers and the Brewers. I think we're going for a repeat of that. Let's take a look at the Padres. Show me the Padres. Yeah, they lost 8-2 to the Tigers at home. Also, what are we doing with some of these opening week matchups? Like, the Rangers are playing the Phillies. Okay. Tampa Bay is playing St. Louis. I guess. The Tigers are playing the Padres. Okay. White Sox are playing the Brewers. I guess there's a geographical rivalry there, maybe. I don't know. It just feels like some weird matchups early on for opening weekend in Major League Baseball. And then finally, the Mariners lost last night. They lost, I believe, 6-4 to the Cleveland Guardians, who looked pretty good. I think the Cleveland Guardians are a team that will somehow find a way to win 90 games again. They are in a bit of a tough division with the Tigers, so they might be slogging it out once again like they were last season. But a great opening win for Cleveland, a tough opening night loss for Seattle at home. So it's been a solid, 2 days, I guess, of baseball. And then today, Yankees playing the Giants this afternoon, Rockies and Marlins, Royals, Braves. So I guess not everybody played. I guess not everybody played yesterday. I forgot that the Rockies and Marlins both existed. That's one of the games this week. But, I don't know. I maybe I'm mistaken. I just don't know what the connection is with Kansas City and Atlanta. I genuinely don't. So, but yeah, we'll see how the rest of the season goes. Obviously, a lot of ball left, as I like to say. There's 161 games to 162 games remaining. So, lot to play for coming up between now and the end of September, which is crazy. I'll say as a Mariners fan, I'm not worried after one game. You can't be. Seriously, you can't be worried about your team losing one game, especially the opening day game. I think if you're the White Sox, you kind of knew your team was not that good in a way. You don't want to lose 14-2, but I don't think you thought you were going to be competing head to head with the Brewers all year. I don't think the White Sox fans are saying that they're going to be on the same level as Milwaukee. I just don't. In the same way of I think one game is one game. The White Sox might win a game. The Mariners might win a game. They're playing 4 against Cleveland. It would be nice to split that with Cleveland, maybe win the next 3. Cleveland, I think, is a tough out. Cleveland's tougher than I think people get credit. People think they don't get enough credit for how tough they can be. Cleveland, they have some dudes on their team. So, but yeah, your team that's the thing about baseball. Your team's gonna lose 70 of these games. You can't be fretting at one opening night loss by 2 runs and a guy who's never hit a guy who'd never played. He was making his debut for Cleveland. Chase the Lauder, I believe his name is. He had 2 home runs. Like, it's almost like hockey. Of like, there's an element to the randomness to it that you just have to take into consideration, or else you will go crazy, and you can't let it impact you like that. So, manners are fine. Manners are fine. I'm saying this now because I certainly would never get too, exaggerated on the manners. I would never be more, hype and sad and all that in the same week. No, that's not who I am. That's not the Ian McNaughton I know. Speaking of kind of underwhelming or not underwhelming, falling apart? Not falling apart. I don't know. The NHL season feels like it's slowing down a little bit. We have, I think, 10 games remaining, which is way too many in the NHL season. We really should have just stopped the season at 65. Like, we should not be adding more games. We need to be subtracting games. Okay, we have 10. Yeah, we have 10 games, more or less, between everybody. Some teams have played 70 games this year. Most have played between 71 and 72. I don't know. I feel like the league, like the NHL, has been losing momentum. Now, maybe it's because I haven't been watching much hockey. I've been caught up with other stuff. I was watching a little bit of baseball yesterday. Was watching a little March Madness. I've been watching some of the other, sports that I have a bit of an interest in. Like rugby sevens is kind of interesting right now. Some of the wrestling because of Dynasty coming to Vancouver and doing a Canadian tour. I like to talk about that a little bit. But I don't know. The NHL doesn't have the same pull that it did a month ago. And I want to say that just because the Olympics were the big thing. And I understand if you don't want, the playoffs to go head to head with March Madness. I understand the March Madness tournament is a big deal. It's a big ratings draw. But we got to we have to be shortening this season. There's no reason that it's March 27th and we need to play, each team needs to play 10 more games. We don't need 10 more games to the Vancouver Canucks. We don't need 10 more games to the Rangers, to the Maple Leafs. And frankly, like, I'm kind of out on the Red Wings right now. I don't think they're going to make it, but they also have 10 games left. Like, the Red Wings could go on a run here and sneak into a wild card spot or get the last spot in the Atlantic. Like, it's not impossible to think that. But I don't know that, the Red Wings deserve another 10-game stretch to try and turn something around. I mean, maybe they do, but, like, I don't know. I'm probably not going to be watching a ton of hockey between now and the end of the season. If I'm completely honest, I'm not interested. I think there's other stuff that I'm wanting to give more of my time to. I'll probably check back in when it's the playoffs. Like, it's playoff hockey. There's nothing better than playoff hockey, so I'll probably tune in for that. But I don't need to see, like, I watched Vegas and Edmonton a little bit last night, and it just didn't have the juice, man. It just didn't. I didn't get excited for it. Maybe because I don't think either one of those teams are going to be competing for a cup. I just don't think either one of those teams are that good. But, like, tonight, the Red Wings are playing the Sabres. Sure, I guess. Maybe. I'm probably more interested in the March Madness games. Flyers are playing the Red Wings tomorrow. I don't really care about the Flyers. Like, they're 2 points back of Detroit. They're 5 points out of a playoff spot. Maybe the Flyers do well. I don't know. They're 7-2-1 in their last 10. Maybe they go on a run. There's so many 2 p.m. Pacific games tomorrow. I don't understand. The Kraken are playing the Sabres at 2:30 p.m. Pacific time. Don't understand that. But, like, Hockey Night in Canada is Leafs Blues. Don't give a shit. Habs Preds, kind of interesting because the Habs are fun to watch. Late game, Canucks Flames, don't care. Caps Golden Knights, I don't really care about that. Like, with how the NHL comes up with the way the NHL comes up with their product, it's very saturated. There's a lot of parity, and you're feeling that right now. Like, there are, if you want to say that the Washington Capitals are in the playoff hunt, okay, they're 6 points out of a wild card spot, 6 points out of a third place in the Metro. Theoretically, they could. I just, maybe they do it. I don't know. And in the same way, if we think 6 points out of a playoff spot is still in contention, congrats to the St. Louis Blues, because they're in contention for a playoff spot. Like, I just don't give a shit, I guess. And maybe I'm just not as passionate as some other people are. I just don't care about the Blues being in contention for a playoff spot. I don't think they're that good. In the same way that I think the Sens are probably good. They just can't get a save, and now they're getting hot at the right time. Do I think that they're going to be a threat to win the Cup? No. In the same way, I don't think Columbus is going to be a threat to win the Cup. Or basically anybody from the Pacific. Like, I just don't. I think we and maybe we've just in hockey we've had these conversations so much over the last however many months. Like, we've just been talking about the same shit over and over of like, hey, watch out for the Central. Hey, Tampa Bay could be good. Hey, the Sabres are fun. Maybe the Sabres go on a run. There's just nothing in the NHL right now that I'm really stoked to see, and especially when there's better stuff going on. Like, I am more excited about the baseball that's happening, or I'm more excited about March Madness games. I'm even more excited really about Frozen Four, the college hockey tournament. Like, I think there's something to be said for watching, Gavin McKenna play Minnesota Duluth. I think the story of the Michigan Wolverines this season, can they keep up? They've been number one ranked for most of the season. Can they keep the momentum going into the tournament? Michigan State had a 2-1 win over UConn yesterday. That was an interesting game. That was exciting. And not saying that there aren't 2-1 games in the NHL. It's just the stakes just feel higher right now in college football or college hockey. The stakes maybe aren't that big for baseball right now. There's obviously the March Madness tournament going on. It just feels like there's bigger stakes elsewhere, and that's where my attention is going. Like, between the rugby sevens, between some of the AEW stuff, I just have a difficult time watching hockey and getting excited for it right now. So, and especially when, like, last night being back in Canada, I should say, last night, we had Vegas-Edmonton. Cool, all right, I guess. Edmonton won in overtime. Do I think either one of those teams are going to go on a run? Probably not. I think they're eventually going to lose in the conference championship. Like, Anaheim was playing Calgary, and that I can't get excited about that. And in late March, when I know there's better stuff on, that's, I think, my issue with the NHL. I'll tune in for the playoffs. I'll tune in for the playoffs. I'll definitely get on board with that. I'm excited to watch the playoffs. I think the playoffs are going to be really good, but we're just in this slog where we have to wait another 3 weeks for the playoffs to start, and that's, I think, what my issue is. I'm not tuning in for another 3 weeks of the Red Wings playing the Flyers or the Kraken playing the Mammoth. Like, I'm sorry. I can't. There's just better stuff to watch. There's just more intriguing stuff, more entertaining stuff with greater stakes going on at the moment. So, apologies to the NHL, but yeah, really hard for me to get into. Again, even like Edmonton Vegas, which is supposed to be a marquee matchup with some of the biggest names in hockey, a big hockey market in Vegas right now in the States, and it did not do anything for me. Some of the hockey also last night was just not that good. Like, some of the goals were just not that good. A couple of the missed shots were not that good. Like, it didn't, just not that great of a game. So that is my NHL, my hockey hot takes. We'll do a little AEW conversation here, because AEW will be in Winnipeg, Manitoba on Wednesday, April 1st, this upcoming Wednesday. So far, I believe the only match that has been confirmed is Pac versus Will Ospreay, which is going to be a really fun match. I think MJF and Kenny Omega are doing their contract signing Wednesday. They are officially going to be going head-to-head. They'll go against one another at AEW Dynasty in Vancouver on Sunday, April 12th. Yep, so it's a contract signing, and Pac versus Ospreay is what's been billed so far in Winnipeg. I'm really excited for, also this Wednesday show, but I'm excited for Dynasty. I'm excited to see MJF go against Kenny Omega for the AEW World Championship, and I'm excited to see Will Ospreay go against Jon Moxley in just a singles fight, which that should be really fun. That's going to be a great show. The other fight that's confirmed for Vancouver is FTR versus Christian Cage and Adam Copeland in a match for the AEW World Tag Team Championship. The show in Vancouver is looking really good. I'm excited to see how it all comes together, how it's all put together. Wednesday in Winnipeg is the second to last show before Dynasty. The penultimate last show before Dynasty. So there's basically there's Dynamite in Winnipeg on Wednesday, April 1st. There's Dynamite. I'm getting mixed up with Dynasty and Dynamite. Dynamite, Winnipeg, April 1st. Dynamite, Edmonton, April 8th. And then Dynasty on Sunday, April 12th in Vancouver. Some really good stuff from AEW. I don't think they're gonna take the title off MJF because he's doing well. He's selling tickets. He's putting up good TV numbers. So I don't think AEW is gonna take the title off him. I'm really excited to see Will Ospreay return to the ring. He has been off for 6 months, I think. 8 months. He's been off for quite a long time. Basically getting neck surgery. Maybe it was fusion surgery, spinal surgery. He's basically, his run, I'm going to say for 2 years before he had to take some time off, was insane. But you can see all the physical ailments that he had. And it was good that he got the time off. It was good that he got the rest. It was good that he got to go hang out with the missus and do all that sort of stuff. But now he's going to try and hopefully build a bit of a run here up for the AEW. It's All Out. I think it's All Out, or is it All In? Whatever show they do in Wembley. Basically, they're going to do AEW is doing a big show in Wembley at the end of the summer, end of August. And he is, I'm sure, probably trying to main event or at least put on a big show for the crowd. Almost 80,000 people that will be showing up to Wembley, I think. Although they might do the end stage, so it might be down to 50,000. But tune into AEW on Wednesday. It's going to be in Winnipeg. I don't know how they're all going to get there since there's no airport in Winnipeg. I guess they're all driving there. It should be a great show. Can't wait to see how that goes. And then basically, it's all just the road to Dynasty. That's essentially what it is. Winnipeg to Edmonton to Vancouver on the road to Dynasty. Some great AEW shows. Should be fantastic wrestling over the next 3 weeks. So can't wait for that. And then finally, I'll hit you with my Sicko Mode Games of the weekend. Obviously, you have the March Madness games tonight. St. John's playing Duke. Bama versus Michigan, Michigan State versus UConn, Iowa State, Tennessee. Really, really good March Madness games tonight. The St. John's Duke number, even though it's on a Friday, that's gonna be a good TV number. Bama Michigan's gonna be fun. Even Michigan State UConn, it's gonna be a really strong TV number. So I'm sure a lot of people are gonna be tuning in for that. And then on Saturday, Iowa is playing Illinois in an Elite Eight game. I did not see this coming. I genuinely did not think both of those teams would make the Elite Eight. Should be a huge Big Ten matchup there. One of those teams is going to the Final Four. That's nuts. That is so cool. And then Purdue is playing Arizona on Saturday night. Again, fantastic basketball games coming up. Like this is why I can't watch the NHLs, because the basketball is so good. The March Madness tournament has been very good this year. And I know people are going to say, well, there's no like real Cinderella, underdog. No, not necessarily, but I mean, if you watched High Point, like High Point was incredible in their run. We had a couple upsets, but sometimes I think each tournament is just its own tournament. Like I don't think you can, like, unless we saw like a 5-year run of mid-majors sucking, then I think we have a problem. But I don't know. I think we're doing just fine here. And then also another Sicko Mode tournament of the weekend, the NCAA men's hockey tournament. I discussed it a little bit early on. Minnesota State, Western Mich, and then Bentley and Michigan, Cornell versus Denver, Penn State versus Minnesota Duluth. That's all today. Really good games yesterday. Wisco knocked off Dartmouth. Michigan State, again, got past UConn. Quinnipiac beat Providence, and then Nodak beat... Who did they beat? Merrimack. So Cornell will play Denver tomorrow. Quinnipiac will play North Dakota. So those are going to be some really good games. Michigan should beat Bentley handedly. I would think Western Mich would beat Minnesota State. Cornell, Denver. I think Denver is probably the favorite in that, but that's a bit of a toss-up. And then, again, Gavin McKenna and Penn State. Hopefully they can do something over the next couple days here. Go on a bit of a run. Maybe they can get to a Frozen Four. And then finally, actually not quite finally, I got a few more things here. HSBC 7-2 in Sao Paulo. The there's 6 teams on the men's side and 6 teams on the women's side competing. The men's top 2 seeds are already confirmed for the playoff, which I believe is going to be the U.S. and Germany. I believe is the other team that clinched their spot. And there's still 2 spots up for grab. Right now, it looks like Kenya and Uruguay would be moving on to the 7-1 playoff. Canada has a shot to get in there. I don't know that they'll do it. They're facing quite a number of injuries. Some guys went back home for school commitments. Hopefully Canada can do it. I'd love to see them go up against some top teams in the 7-1 playoff. I think it would be awesome. It'd be a great story for Canada. But we'll see. They'll have the work cut out for them this weekend if they want to make it happen. And then the Japanese Grand Prix is Saturday night in Suzuka. That's 10 a.m. Pacific. I don't know what time that is in Japan. Like, I don't know. Something on Sunday. But maybe that, I think it's 16 hours. So it might be 2 p.m. in Suzuka, I think is when that race starts. So that's going to be a good race. Mercedes was exceptional the last time out. I think it was a Piastri who did well in practice too. This weekend, they just did the first 2 practice sessions. So I'm curious to see how that all goes. Red Bull, it's going to be interesting in their Fords. They struggled the last time out in China. Maybe they've got some changes that they've made in Japan for Suzuka. Not sure. That's kind of a team I'm keeping my eye out on is Red Bull. And then finally, NASCAR. They're in Martinsville this weekend. They get a little bit of short track racing. They were in Darlington last weekend. This week, Martinsville. They just keep shrinking the track size on the drivers. Shout out to Tyler Reddick, who has won 4 of the 6 NASCAR races so far for the Jordan 23 team. And phenomenal stuff from Tyler Reddick this year in his number 45 Toyota. He's been putting on a show for people. He has been dominating these races so far. We'll see what he has in store for Martinsville on the short track if he carries his momentum over there. So great stuff from Tyler. Good stuff from NASCAR early on the season. So a little bit of racing, a little bit of rugby, a little bit of hockey, quite a bit of basketball. And then obviously I'll shout out, again, the big baseball games. Cleveland, Seattle, that they are playing 4 games this weekend. And then I think tonight's game for the Mariners is on Apple TV, and then Sunday's game is Peacock. So they're hopping all around the whatever system you want to call it for streaming. They're on all the streaming sites to play base. They're on all the streaming platforms. The Mariners are very popular. They're everywhere. And then I guess the other baseball, the true Sicko Mode game of the weekend is Rockies Marlins, because if 10 people show up to that's going to be a miracle. So, anyways, that's going to be the podcast. We got a shorter episode this week. We'll try and have more out next week with all the good stuff that's going on in sports. Maybe a recap show. We'll see. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you very much for tuning in. You can check out Speak Your Piece on Instagram at SYP Pod. You can check us out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcast. If you're watching this on YouTube, please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Again, that's at SYP Pod. Any support is greatly appreciated. Again, we're going to have more stuff coming up in maybe the next few weeks here. Get closer to spring, closer to summer. I can't wait for it all. We'll post more stuff as it becomes available, as we get more dates finalized. So, on that note, thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for listening. We greatly appreciate it. Again, check us out on Instagram, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, wherever you get your social media, wherever you get your podcast, wherever you get your social media, you'll find us. Can't wait to see you again soon. We'll chat later. Peace out.